Okay, this is the last reminder for all those who have recently joined. Please enter your name and roll number in the message box so that I can take your attendance and then we will start with the class. But those who have already sent their name and roll number, please do not repeat it.
Good morning,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Okay.
Good morning,
Once
sir.
again, good morning, all of you. What happened, everyone? Good morning, everyone. Say it loudly.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good
Morning,
morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
Now,
morning, sir.
okay. I have taken, I hope
Good
everyone has
morning.
written their name. Now, will you allow me to speak, please? Okay. I think everyone has written their name and roll number, and I have written down in attendance. Now, can we start with the class, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Last time we were discussing we discussed two topics. That one was flood, landslide. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
We have also discussed about the situation when there is a flood, what happens. We also discussed what is condensation, evaporation, why clothes dry faster under the sun, and why it takes a lot of time to dry in a closed room. We also learned evaporation is a continuous process and it does not stop. Of course, the rate of evaporation keeps changing. The rate of evaporation depends upon the atmosphere, temperature. If we heat something, evaporation starts quickly. Apart from that, we also learned about how clouds are formed. I hope do you all remember all these things. Now, moving forward, can we all please come to page number 140, 140? Can everyone, all of you, please take out your textbook and page number 140?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir निकाला.
Okay.
Sir, निकाला.
I will. Okay. On page number 140, I will ask. I'll say a roll number from here, and that roll number has to read the topic, page number 140. Roll number 63. Who is roll number 63?
Yes, sir.
Can you please read page number 140?
Sir, modify book નથી.
Okay, no problem. Just remind me after the class. I'll share the PDF with you, right?
Yes.
Roll number
Okay, sir.
11. Roll number 11.
Yes, sir.
Can you read?
Yes. Sir,
Yes.
कौन सा पेज नंबर से रीड करना है?
It means you were not present here, right? Page number
Yes.
140. How are clouds formed?
How are clouds formed? Activity 3. Take a glass half filled with water. Wipe the glass from the outside with a clean piece of cloth. Add some ice into the water. Wait for 1 or 2 minutes. Observe the changes that take place on the outer surface of the glass. Figure 14.6. From where do water drops appear on the outer side of the glass? The cold surface of the glass containing iced water cools the air cools the air around it, and the water vapor of the air condenses on the surface of the glass. We notice this process of condensation in Activity 7 in Chapter 5. The process of condensation plays an important role in bringing water back to the surface of Earth. How does it happen? As we go higher from the surface of the Earth, it gets cooler. When the air moves up, it gets cooler and cooler. At sufficient height, the air becomes so cool that the water vapor present in the condensations to form tiny drops of water called droplets. It is these tiny drops that remain floating in air and appear to us as clouds. Figure 14.7. It
Okay.
so
Thank you.
happens.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now let me explain this, right? Activity 3 states that if you take a simple plain glass of water, and put some ice cubes in that glass, after sometimes you will see that the outer surface of the glass, we are not talking about the inner surface of the glass, we are talking about the outer surface of the glass, a tiny water droplets gathered around the surface of the glass. Now, this process is an example of condensation. Condensation is actually opposite of evaporation. We all know that during evaporation, water gets converted from liquid, it gets converted into gaseous state. And as gas is lighter than liquid, it moves upwards. But in our atmosphere, there is a situation wherein lower surface is warm or hot. You can't say the word hot, but it's warm. And the upper surface, as we move up, as we go up in the atmosphere, it becomes water. The atmosphere changes to cool. Now, that coolness leads water droplets which are in the gaseous state to get converted into liquid state. So, when the water vapor moves upwards, they get converted into the liquid state, or they get together around at one place. Now, that get together appears to us as in the form of clouds. Now, this is how clouds are formed. I hope I'm not speaking too fast. Are you able to understand?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We can do this activity at home also, but
Yes.
uh, this is a natural process, and it happens on a large scale. So if it happens on a large scale, it is not, and it is a slow process. So we cannot see it, but we can observe the effects of it. Now, moving forward, roll number 10. Who is roll number 10?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you please read?
Yes, it
Hmm.
so happens that many droplets of water come together to form larger sized drops of water. Some drops of water become so heavy that they begin to fall. These falling water drops are what we call rain. In special conditions, it may also fall as rain or snow. Thus, water in the form of vapor goes into air by evaporation and transpiration, forms clouds, and then comes back to the ground as rain or snow.
Thank you. Now, this is how when
Sir,
evaporation
it's
takes place,
14
water
April.
goes up, and from there it gets collected together. When small droplets of water comes together, they become heavy, and when they are so heavy that they cannot stay in the atmosphere, they fall on the ground, and that falling we call as a rain. Now, it all depends upon the temperature and the situation like where it is happening. Sometimes it happens that it is very cold below, and when water fall, it gets converted into the small form of ice. Now, when water falls and it gets converted into the form of ice, we call it as a snowfall, or sometimes it's a hailstorm. Sometimes water is very cold, but it's in liquid state. So these are the different forms of when water falls on the ground, but that happens due to condensation. So that's a process of condensation. Now, again, I'll revise the complete process once again. We are talking about water cycle or disappearing tricks of water. Yes, last time we learned that sun heats the water resources like like river, ocean, well, everything that comes under the sun. It heats them and water starts evaporating. This evaporation is in gaseous state. Water is in gaseous states. It goes on the upper surface of the atmosphere. It gets collected there. From there, as it comes together, small droplets of water comes together and the atmosphere changes from warm to cool. That coolness leads to condensation. Now condensation, due to condensation, water droplets comes together, they become heavy, and they fall in the form of rain. Sometimes it gets converted in the form of ice, we call it as a snowfall. So there are different, these are the different stages. Now, next topic of our textbook states back to the ocean. Now we all know, I have also explained in the class, when water falls on the ground, it fills river with water, it fills our lakes with water, it fills it fills well, and we utilize water. Some part of the water we use it, and rest of the water goes back to the ocean from through river. This is what they want to explain in this going back to the ocean. Now can roll number 46. Who is 46?
Sir, can I? Roll number 16.
Roll number 46, please.
Sir,
Okay.
she
Roll
is
number
not in class.
no, she is not answering. Roll number 30. 30.
Yes,
Can you read, please?
Page number.
This is again, I'm reminding to everyone, please look at your textbook. If you don't have a textbook, that's okay. I'll share the PDF, but please look at your textbook where the last person left. We will be anyone could be reading. So your name or roll number is random. So please be
sir, can
careful.
I read?
No, beta. Let
Sir,
I
can I
will tell the roll number. I will tell the roll number who will read. This way I cannot ask everyone to read. Roll number 30. Read on page number 141. Back to the ocean topic.
Okay. Back to the oceans.
Hmm.
What happens to the water that rain and snow bring to different regions of Earth? Almost all land surface are above the level of oceans. Most of the water that falls on the land as rain and snow sooner or later goes back to the oceans. This happens in many ways. Snows in the mountains melts into water. This water flows down the mountains in the form of streams and rivers. Some of the water that falls on land as rain also flows in the forms of rivers and streams. Most of the rivers cover long distance on land and ultimately fall into a sea or an ocean. However, water of some rivers flows into lakes. The rainwater also fills up the lakes and ponds. A part of the rainwater gets absorbed by the ground and seems to disappear in the soil. Some of this water is brought back to the air by the process of evaporation and transpiration. The rest seeps into the ground. Most of this water becomes available to us as groundwater. Open wells are fed by groundwater. Groundwater is the source for many lakes as well. It is also this groundwater which is drawn by a hand pump or a tube well. The more hand pumps or tube wells that are used in an area, the deeper we need to dig to find this groundwater. The loss in the level of groundwater due to overuse is worrisome. Pahli wants to share a concern with you. In those areas where the land has little or no vegetation, the rainwater flows away quickly. Flowing rainwater also takes the top layer of the soil away with it. There are few areas where most of the land is covered with constant. This reduces the seepage of rainwater into the ground, which ultimately affects the availability of groundwater. We
Thank you.
now know
Thank you.
that
Thank
water.
you. Thank you, Vita. Thank you. Okay. Now, when there is a heavy rain, water generally flows from land and it goes back to it fills the river, and from river it goes to the ocean. We all know that our land is higher at a higher level, and sea is at a lower level. So all the water naturally comes on the ground, goes back to the sea. But how can we use this? How do we use this water? We have 12 months in a year, and it rains hardly 3 months in a year. What about the rest other 9 months? How do we use water during those 9 months? Now we have developed different methods, and naturally also there are different methods which helps us to use stored water in the form of groundwater. We call it as a groundwater. Now, what happens is when water falls on the ground, some water seeps into the ground and it gets collected below the surface of the earth. Now, that water is called groundwater. We sometimes we dig well and we do the bore well, so we collect water throughout the year from those sources. Now there are wells and we call it what do we call lakes and ponds, which are filled during the monsoon, and we use it for the rest of the year. But that's practically not possible with in every city. So earlier it was fine because there was less population, but now we mostly depend on groundwater, and we are using many pumps and motors to take all the water from the ground, which is a concern for us because groundwater is slowly decreasing. The level of groundwater is decreasing. I told you, and we have also calculated how many liters of water are we using daily, right? So if we are using on an average 200 liter of water in one day, one person is using, you can imagine all the people living in Mahua, how many liters of water are they using daily? So that could be a big concern for us as the population increases, water level or the availability of water decreases. In order to overcome this problem, what we do is we dig well, and we also establish artificial lakes. Apart from that, we during monsoon, in order to stop the rainwater from flowing back to the ocean, what we do is we build a dam or check dam. Has anyone heard about check dam? Has anyone heard about check dam?
No, sir.
No one?
No.
No.
No one knows what is check dam? Okay, have you
No,
seen
sir.
Malandi?
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yes.
Okay. In between the flow of when water is flowing, in between the river, there is a small wall that is created to stop the flow of water. That small wall, that small wall is called check dam. Am I audible, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It's clear. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now that small
So,
wall is called check dam. What it does is it stops the some level of water and allows other water to pass through the and goes to the ocean. Now this helps us to save water, and in future we after post monsoon we can use that water. There are other methods of taking water and using it. Is one is borewell, one is well. We all know about well, right? Kuo. Have you
so what
seen?
is the meaning of bore well?
Borewell is something that when you have at your home, we drill in the ground. આપણે જમીનમાં ખાડો ખોદીએ પાણી કાઢવા માટે. Have you seen it?
Yes.
That is called.
Yes.
No.
And then we fit submersible or electric motor in order to pump the water out. That is called borewell.
Okay, sir. So
Okay.
can I do it?
No, beta. Let me complete this part. Okay. So this is how we extract water, and if we take more water, of course, the groundwater, the level will decrease. Now, again, if I sum up everything, the water evaporating from the ocean, coming on land, filling the rivers, from river it going back to the ocean, this complete process is called water cycle. Now, I would like all of you to watch this video about the water cycle so that it can be understood clearly. I'm sharing my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
I hope you have understood, right?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that was an animated video to show how water cycle. I will also share the link if you want. You can watch that video. So
Okay,
that this
sir.
is the process
Okay,
of
sir.
transpiration, precipitation. There are many terms that were explained in it, but we'll learn the definitions. We have understood it, how it happens. Now, next, moving on to the next topic. Does anyone has any doubt in water cycle?
No.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Do you all remember that in the last lecture we had a discussion about what happens when there is a lot of water? It causes flood. I also showed you a video what happened in Nainital. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, what happened in Nainital was an example of flood that happened there. Now, when it rains heavily, lot of water gets collected in a short period of time. This process or this situation is called flood. In order to avoid that flood like situation, we have to move to the towards the higher place. Now, flood can occur anytime if it rains heavily. Now, there is another situation, we call it opposite of flood, and we call it drought. When there is no water or no rainfall for a long period of time, we call that situation as drought. So flood, lot of definition of flood, lot of water or very heavy rain in a short period of time. And opposite of flood is drought, when no water or no rainfall for a long period of time. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Say yes at least. Only one or two are alive. Do
Yes,
you want
sir.
me do you want me to
Yes,
ask you to
sir.
turn your camera on so that I can see your faces?
No,
Okay.
sir.
Now moving towards the next one, roll number 37. Who's roll number 37?
Can I?
Roll number
It's
37, please. Okay,
your
37.
voice is not clear.
Roll number 37. Okay. Roll number 7.
Yes, sir.
Can you please read page number
Yes.
143? How what
140.
happens if it does? Oh, sorry. How can we conserve water?
How can we conserve water? Yes, sir. Only a small fraction of water available on the earth it is fit of use of plants, animals, and humans. Most of the water is in the oceans and it cannot be used directly. When the level of the groundwater decreases drastically, this cannot be used anymore. The total amount of water on the earth remains the same, but the water available for each every limited and it's decreasing with the overusage. The demand for the water is increasing day by day. The number of the people using water is increasing with the rising population. In many cities, long
Q.
for collection of water are a common see. It takes 14.12 also more and more water be beginning used for producing food and by the industry. These factors are leading to the storage of water in many parts of the world. And it is a very important that water is used carefully. We should take care to waste, do not waste. the water.
Okay. Now, this two topics that the first one is how can we conserve water, and the second topic, rainwater harvesting. These are the two methods which are explained, but they have just given an idea how we can conserve water or how we can save water, right? So they cannot give rules and regulations to us how we have to save. We all know it better because we are using water. So if the main concern of this topic is to make you aware that you should know and you should also implement those policies or those habits where you can save water. Can you all write down in your comment box how can we save water? I'll give you 2 minutes. Write at least two methods by which you can save water. Have you all understood my question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Write at least two methods how we can conserve water or how we can save water. Write in comment box those two methods. I'll give you 2 minutes. Think about it and write it. Okay, done. I got some of the comments and I would like to read some of them. Uh, we all know that there are few. Can everyone listen to me? Can everyone hear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, there are some comments which uh, I would like to share. For example, take a shorter shower. Okay, that's a good one. You can take shorter shower. We should stop playing with water. That's again a good one. We can stop playing. We should not waste water by playing with water. Uh, Another one is if you are using or example washing a dish, do not let the water run. Okay, that can be you done. That is again useful when we are doing wuzu or we are doing something else using water or brushing our teeth. We should not let the water run. So there are many and very good uses of water that are given that can be implemented and that we can use it. But there are some uses which some of you have mentioned that we should use less water to drink. That is not a bit acceptable. The reason is we have to take enough water to stay dehydrated. If we will take less water, we will get dehydrated, and that could be a reason for our illness. So we have to take enough water to drink, but yes, playing with water, leaving the water tab open, these are the some of the methods we can use or to avoid wastage of water. Apart from that, can you think anything else? Okay, it's good to see that all of you have given a lot of reasons where you can use water in a proper manner without wasting it. But the important thing is that we apply those methods in our daily life so that we can save water. Now, thank you all of you for your answers. And does anyone has any doubt in these topics that we have learned today?
No, sir.
You can ask any doubt if you have at this moment, because in the next class we will be learning about rainwater harvesting, and we'll be discussing
Okay,
some
sir.
revision about this chapter, and we'll discuss about the
Okay,
notes
sir.
also. No, I'm
Okay,
not
sir.
asking you. I'm not asking you to
Okay,
go.
sir.
Okay, sir.
I hope there is no doubt, right?
Yes,
No,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
sir. Yes.
Okay, good. So, if you don't have any doubt, and the last topic we'll be discussing in the next lecture, I think tomorrow's homework will be watch at least two videos about flood situation when there is a lot of flood. You can
Okay,
easily
sir.
find it on
Okay,
YouTube.
sir.
You'll get a lot of video what happens when there is a heavy rainfall or a flood situation occurs. It would be better if it is any place
Can you
close to
write?
us. For example, in Gujarat, if you can find a video about flood situation in Gujarat, that would be much helpful and useful for you. So tomorrow's homework or today's homework is you have to watch at least two videos about flood-like situation or flood situation that is filmed. And thank you all of you for today. Now you can log out.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay,
Thank
sir.
you,
Bye.
sir.
Thank you.
Bye, sir. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, sir. Bye, Have a
Bye.
nice day, sir. Khuda. Bye, sir.
Bye.
Khuda.
Thank you. Thank you. Khuda Hafiz.
Hafiz,
Bye,
sir.
sir.
Bye. Hafiz. Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye, sir. Khuda Hafiz.
Bye and Khuda Hafiz.